You're listening to the Cyberwire Network, powered by N2K.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to N2K Cyberwire's Hacking Humans podcast, where each week we look behind the social engineering scams, phishing schemes, and criminal exploits that are making headlines and taking a heavy toll on organizations around the world. I'm Dave Bittner, and joining me is my N2K colleague and host of the T-Minus Space Daily podcast, Maria Vermasis. Maria.
Hi.
And, of course, my longtime co-host of Hacking Humans, Joe Carrigan.
Hi,
Joe.
Dave.
Howdy.
Howdy.
So, we've got some good stories to cover here, and we will be right back after this message from our show sponsor. And now, a few thoughts from our sponsors at ThreatLocker. The tactics used by cybercriminals are becoming more and more advanced every day. The shift from a default allow approach to a default deny is more critical than ever. This is where ThreatLocker comes in. Stay tuned for how ThreatLocker allow listing and ring fencing has your back. All right, before we dig into stories, we've got some follow-up here. Joe, you want to do the honors?
Sure. Hi, Dave, Joe, and Maria. First off, love the show. Wanted to give a thought and a follow-up to the EasyPass scam, like you mentioned in the podcast on previous episodes, where people get the phishing texts. These are the ones that say, hey, you owe some tolls, pay us some money.
Right.
Yep.
Not long ago, there was a YouTuber named Mike Brown who had reverse engineering of one of the license plate readers to find that, at least at the time, the video feed and data associated with it was wide open to the internet. It could be that scammers tapped into this, pulling the license plate numbers and reading the data, and then breaching, and then using some data breach to find phone numbers associated with the license plates. Then automate the system to send out the scam text messages in near real time. This is an interesting theory.
It is plausible.
100% plausible.
Yeah.
We're going to do the
yes.
Mythbusters version, plausible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These ALPRs are all over the place now. You see them mounted on the back of police cars.
Yeah.
Police cars will drive through shopping centers with ALPR. It's automatic license plate reader.
Yep.
Very
Thank you.
complicated acronym. And they will, just keep track of who's where.
Right.
And if, hey, the owner of this vehicle has some warrants on them, maybe we just hang out here.
Yeah.
So it helps them automate the process, I guess. I think there are some real civil liberties concerns here, to say the least.
Well, it's not just the police also. Like, they've got them coming
Correct.
in and out of shopping malls and
Yep.
neighborhoods.
There's
and...
one at my employer.
Okay. Wow. Nice. Yeah, they're all over.
I'm sure there's more than one, but I've just noticed one.
Yeah.
Because I only go in and out of one exit.
Right.
Hey, that's
Could there
an
be one
ALPR.
just sitting on the side of a highway? I mean,
There absolutely could be. I mean,
Yeah.
they're small.
yeah.
They're about the size of, I want to say, what first came to my mind? The original Star Trek series tricorders.
Okay.
And I
we
don't
all know that.
we at least we know what that looks
You're
like. Yes,
speaking
okay.
our language.
They're
Yeah.
about that big.
Yep.
And they are, and they do the automatic license plate reading. And I would imagine that I don't know this for a fact. I'd like to see this reverse engineering video. And there's a link in this email, so we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
That it doesn't spit out a picture of the license plate. It spits out the text
Right.
of the plate. So you just can read that text, take that feed, parse it, run a Python script against it, hit your database of breached data, find a phone number you can text to, send the text to the phone number, and see if you can start making profit.
Yeah. I have watched this video. I watched it a while back when it first came to light, and it is interesting. Surprising that this was out there in the clear for anyone who knows how to.
Are you really
tap into
surprised?
it. Well, I guess disappointing is probably a better
Disappointed,
word.
yes.
Yeah.
I am very disappointed in whoever did
but
this.
nuts. Yeah. I would also note that, toll plazas have license plate readers built
Yes, they
into
do.
them. So I wonder if that vulnerability is in the license plate readers that are toll plazas. You could plug into one of those, then you're a long way ahead of where you want to be
Right.
to execute something like this.
Yep. Actually, right in the data stream you want is what you
Yeah.
are.
That's interesting. I think this is a plausible idea. We were talking about this earlier in one of our meetings, CyberWire meeting. We were saying that one of the theories is that like one of the apps you have on your phone could be geofencing you.
Right.
And anytime you're with it, it sees that you're on a toll road, that triggers the message. But I like this even better. This seems more direct.
Yeah, more direct, and you could even time it for when they leave the toll road.
Yeah.
Because that's probably where the ALPR is, right?
I think when you go in and when you go out, they tag you both times.
You're probably right.
Yeah. Yeah. I've gotten, letters.
Yeah, I got a letter I got to respond to.
Yeah. I had one, my EasyPass expired. I got a new car and my EasyPass hadn't been
associated with that car.
Associated with a new car. So I went over the Bay Bridge and I don't know, a week later or so got a letter and
they're always going to get you.
Yeah, I mean, I went on the website and I associated it with a new car and all was good. I didn't actually have to pay anything, but sure enough, they send you a photo and yep, that's me.
Yep.
So that's the way it goes. We will have a link to a story from Cyberscoop that talks about these scammy text messages and the unpaid tolls and really looks into it. So we'll have that in the show notes for folks.
Right. Anyway, that was sent to us by someone calling themselves Agent Shield.
Okay. Well, good for you, Mr. Shield.
Yes.
Or Mrs. Shield.
Right.
Sir Shield. Madam Shield.
Maybe it's Brooke Shield. That would be Shields, though.
King of the Shields.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you for sending that in, and we would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to consider for the show, you can email us. It's hackinghumans@n2k.com. All right, I'm going to lead things off with our stories here today, and my story is actually a blog post from a gentleman named Ben Tasker. He lives in the UK. He is an engineering manager at an organization called ChainGuard. They provide vetted open source software. So if you're looking to use open source software in your project, ChainGuard provides a way to have some confidence that your open source software is what it says it is.
Yeah, that's good.
So Ben put together what I have to say is the most detailed accounting of interacting with a romance scammer that I have ever seen.
Really?
Yes. And it is fascinating in its detail. He is very thorough. He does some A/B testing. He's really... He starts off the blog post by apologizing for how long it's going to be, and it is long. But if you're into this sort of thing and you're curious what might be going on, it is worth the look. It's quite extensive, and I recommend it. So let me take you through what he's done here. He got contacted randomly by someone who used the name Idana. Idana, I don't know. It's not a name I'm familiar with. She is a self-proclaimed dentist from Kazakhstan. So he decided to engage with her. It started with a simple email. Idana claimed to have stumbled across his contact and was eager to get to know him. Her messages were affectionate. Within just a few exchanges, she was calling him dear and my love and showering him with warmth.
Love bombing.
He said it was clear that she was following a script that was designed to fast-track trust. So the next step was what he refers to as the illusion of intimacy. As their conversation went on, Idana worked hard to make her story feel real. So she spoke about her daily routine as a dentist and shared details about her life and started sending photos. But the images didn't quite match the flow of their conversation. So Ben's pretty sure they were just borrowed from somewhere else, which there's, excellent chance that that's the case.
Right.
Eventually, she suggested phone calls. And so they did speak. He noticed inconsistencies. Her accent didn't quite match her claimed nationality. Let me just say as an aside, would any of us be able to nail whether a Kazakhstan accent was...
Kazakh accent? No, I've only ever met one person from Kazakhstan.
Okay.
Who's one of the students up at JHU, and I can't remember exactly what his accent sounded like.
Yeah. I do know a woman from Kazakhstan who's been a guest on Cyberwire. So, if I have someone I could ask or go back and listen to my interview with her. But
to answer your question, no. I would not be able to I would not be able to say that is or is not a Kazakh accent.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, Ben knows more than we do when it comes to this. And he said the accent didn't match. And also there was a lot of strange background noises during their conversations, which, chances are whoever it was, they were sitting in some bullpen somewhere.
Right. Yep.
So the next step was the money. So the relationship is established. Aidana moved to the real goal, which is getting cash. She wove an emotional story designed to make Ben feel both sympathetic and responsible to helping her. Maybe she needed money for a visa. Maybe she was facing an unexpected crisis. Her details would shift around, but the goal was the same. And of course, Ben wasn't going to send her any money, but instead he let the conversation run longer, trying to study her tactics. And the pattern was pretty clear. First you have emotional investment, then a subtle introduction of financial needs, and then that escalates into urgent requests. So through it all, and again, this is a detailed report, Ben's takeaways were that there were key strategies used here in this romance scam. First of all, emotional manipulation, trying to establish an intense connection very quickly. And one thing he noted was that consistency was not a priority. He said small details often don't add up, but the victims are emotionally invested in the relationship, and so they're likely to overlook those details.
Right.
Or explain it away. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Or explain it away.
And then escalation to money requests. The scammers take their time before introducing financial problems, waiting until they believe the victim is hooked. So there's one other thing I want to touch on here, which I thought was particularly interesting. He has an area of his write-up where he talks about the possibility of conditioning techniques. Now, this was new. I'd never seen this before. I'm just going to read from his post. He says, so there was a situation where Aidana asked him to provide a phone number, and he did not right away. And he says, being told off for not providing a phone number did lead to an interesting observation. Every other email had included photos of Aidana, but these did not. Was this deliberate? Over time, I used different accounts to fail to comply with requests in different ways, and sure enough, it seemed to have an impact on whether the scammer attached a photo or not. This only happened during the early stages of the scam, though. Once our pseudo-relationship had started developing, photos were much more consistently sent. It's a small sample, so perhaps I'm reading too much into it, but it appears that the scammers have built positive conditioning into the early stages of their workflows. If the mark does what Aidana asks, they receive a reward in the form of a photo. If they don't, no photo is forthcoming.
B.F. Skinner would be proud.
God.
Or maybe ashamed. I don't know.
I found this particular element fascinating.
Yeah, me too.
Like Ben says, he's got a small sample size, but it was something that he noticed, and it makes sense, right? You get 100%. a reward for doing what they want you to do, and punishment for not.
Yeah.
Have people never seen a woman on the internet? I just don't understand how that works.
Wait, they have women on the internet?
It's like, how is that enough of an incentive? Okay, I'm at it. Yeah,
well, Maria, you're not a man.
I know. I'm just like, really?
Yes, we really are that simple.
Yes. It is not complicated.
No, we really are that simple. Yes,
I've been married over a decade, and yet you men continue to surprise me all the time.
Oh,
so.
no. and again, like we said earlier in the show, by surprise, you mean disappoint.
Right. You need to lower your expectations, Maria.
I don't think they can get much lower, Joe.
No. Our base impulses are about as low as they can go, and this reflects that, certainly.
Yes, absolutely.
My goodness.
So, like I said, it's a very interesting analysis of this sort of thing. So, if you're interested, and I suspect if you're listening to the show, you are, it's a good read. And Ben really did his homework. And like I said, this is the most detailed analysis I've seen of someone actively playing along with these people. And there's some really interesting insights.
I'm going to take a look
yeah.
at this.
Yeah. So we'll have a
Yep.
link to that in the show notes, and do check it out. All right. Well, let's move along here. Joe, what do you have for us this
Well,
week?
first I want to talk about this past Sunday. I had some family in for an event, and it was actually at my daughter's house. And on Sunday, my aunt asked me, Joe, you work in cybersecurity. Do you know anything about scams? I'm like, you haven't talked to anybody about what I do.
Yeah.
I said, I have this great podcast where I talk about exactly this all the time. So I want to say welcome to our newest listener, my Aunt Margaret.
Oh,
Hi.
hello, Aunt Margaret.
She told me about two of her friends getting scammed. One was a woman getting scammed in a romance scam with a fake movie star out of like 70 grand. It was one of her friends that happened to. I don't know
my
what the status of that is, but I think they're still working on it. And they're still working on it in their friend group, and she's resistant to any information. And Maria, I shared some things that you and I, or that we've talked about here on this show about trying to get people out of these kind of situations and how hard that is.
Yeah. Yep.
Another one of her friends was on the phone with a scammer and went to withdraw money from her bank, $20,000, when she's on the phone. And the scammer says, tell the teller you're going to buy a car and you need the cash. But the teller saw that she was on the phone and said, he says I need to tell you that I'm going to buy a car. And the teller gets the branch manager. And the branch manager says, no, you're not getting the money out. You're on the phone with a scammer right now. We're not doing this. We're calling one of your family members. And now actually this woman's family has gotten power of attorney over her finances.
Oh.
So
That's great.
yeah,
I mean,
the bank manager there saved this woman 20 grand. And my aunt was saying she might be in the early stages of dementia. I don't know if it's dementia or something else, or it could just be that she's on the phone and getting scammed.
Yeah.
You don't need to have dementia to have that happen.
No, you don't. Yep.
But bad news on one front, good news on another. So that's why I recommended this podcast, and I tell everybody else, it's the podcast your mom can listen to, the cybersecurity podcast your mom can listen to.
Well, somebody needs to send that bank manager a fruit basket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously, that's good training and good, well spotted. Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you want to happen. So that's very encouraging. Yeah, that's great.
So my story this week actually comes from CBS News, written by Kara Fellows and Kate Blatt. I'm not going to read the headline because that kind of ruins it for me. And I want you guys to get this, but Google has found some fake business profiles on their site. And the issue was first raised. Yes. Shocker, right? Shocker.
Yeah.
You mean the guy who lives down the road from me isn't actually a female body inspector from the FBI?
He probably is actually a female body inspector, Dave.
Okay.
You want to keep your wife away from that guy.
Yeah, sure.
This issue was raised to their attention by a Texas business that flagged an unlicensed locksmith impersonating them on Google Maps. Now, I thought to myself, what does that mean, first raised, or how the article doesn't say it. So I did a little bit of searching around, and I used Bing because it turns out if you type in company sues Google in Google, you don't get a lot of results.
Again, shock.
Right.
Amazing.
So this has been a long-running problem with locksmithing companies going back all the way to 2012, where locksmithing companies are being impersonated. And I don't know what the scam was back then, but we're going to talk about what the scam is now in this. So they pulled the thread on this, and it's just the beginning. Google got to work and started finding these fake accounts, and they found 10,000 illegitimate business listings in this one event that they were doing. Now, these could be either a fake business that someone just set up, or it could be an account that had been hacked or hijacked. Dave, have you ever search for a business on Google Maps, and you pull up the map and it says, is this your business? Claim it.
Yes.
All the time. Yeah.
I've often wondered what would happen if I just claimed someone's business, and how that would
find out.
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't want to do that
Joe.
because I don't want to just take someone else's Google listing, right? I don't want to do what these scammers are doing. But it seems to me like if you were a scammy kind of person, that would be the easiest way to do that. claim it. Claim the business. It's right there on the webpage. It's there on the interface.
Right.
Google says the scammers would target what they call duress verticals. Thank you. Business school graduate, you. Duress verticals. What does that mean? That means companies that you need in a time sensitive manner. So, for example, locksmiths, towing companies, sewer companies, septic companies,
funeral directors,
plumbers, funeral directors.
Yeah.
Right.
All these things.
Right.
Anything you're going to need. And so once these scammers had picked the business they were going to target, they would work with. They weren't working alone. And they would find other scammers around the world and use, wait for it, social media. And in one example, Google has filed a lawsuit against these people, by the way. And in one example in this lawsuit, Google says that one of these scammers made alleged postings in multiple Facebook groups to advertise 5-star reviews that can bypass Google's guidelines.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, this article points out that fake business listings are prohibited on Google Maps.
Oh.
Sure, that's going to stop them, but okay.
Thanks. Thanks, Google.
right.
That should do it.
Yep.
But how'd they start pulling the thread on this? Someone had to tell them something's wrong, so they don't really go looking for these things.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some great quotes in here from Halima Delane Prado, who is Google's general counsel. Once we're alerted to the actual fraud, we take extreme efforts to identify similar fraudulent listings. So they don't do anything until they're alerted to it. I think that's a problem. I think they should be looking for this all the time.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how they would go about this, but they have some really smart people over there at Google.
Yeah, they've got to be able to
One
figure.
or
If they
two.
can't figure this out,
Right.
I mean, jeez.
And then the next quote is, scammers are becoming increasingly sophisticated, which is true. That's almost a truism. Online business profiles are incredibly valuable to businesses as well as consumers. This is what Ms. Delane Prado says. Small and medium businesses use those listings for word of mouth and discoverability. So really, this is not hurting large corporations, of course. This is going to hurt the small and medium-sized businesses.
Yeah.
And when you are on the receiving end of this, notifying Google and trying to get their help is, I think it's going to be like screaming into the void. I don't think you're going to get a lot of response. One of the other things they did on these with these reviews is they sold them as a way to suppress real bad reviews on the platform. So, I mean, have you ever left a bad review for a business? A business ever just really make you angry and go, hey, you're gonna get it?
Sure.
And,
No, I haven't.
You never have?
I'm too millennial to do that. I don't do that.
Oh, I've left some scathing reviews.
Dang.
Mine have been diplomatic.
Not mine.
None of this surprises me.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I just want, to be factual.
When I'm doing this, my feelings are already hurt. So
I see. So you're going to spread it around.
yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I'm not absorbing this all on my own.
No. Of course not. No.
And this is not the first time that Google has tried to take out scammers. They told them that Google told CBS that it removed or blocked about 12 million fake business profiles in 2023, which was about 1 million more, or close to a 5% increase from 2022. Now, Google says if they have any winnings in this case, that they don't need the money. They're going to donate the damages to an organization, in this case, that works with fighting scams, which I think is good. That's nice that you're doing that. If
They should send it to us. We're an
be our
organization that works
sponsor.
to fight scams.
hey, that's a great idea. Maybe we can finally get them as get them as sponsors. After we spent the past 4 years bashing them.
That's right. Yeah, it's
They're
not very
champing
likely.
at the bit.
No,
It's true.
So-
yeah, right.
So is the situation here that, for example, my car breaks down, I'm on the side of the road, I get out my phone to look for a tow truck, and
A duress vertical, if you will.
a duress.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
I'm in the market for some duress verticals, and I look for a tow truck, and so there will be a fake listing. I will
Right.
then call those people, and they'll say, "Hello, Joe's Tow Trucks." And I'll say, hey, I need a tow truck. And they'll say, well, send one right over. But before we do, we get scammed a lot. First thing I'm going to need is your credit card number. And I say, no problem. But then they get my credit card number and nobody shows up.
Right.
Like that sort of thing could
That
happen.
is not what happens.
Oh.
These, I mean, that's a good guess.
Okay.
But there are several distinctive tactics that these scammers use. First is the bait and switch, which is when someone is searching for a local service, but instead of reaching the actual person they need, they get a fake listing, which is something you're describing. So yeah, maybe.
Okay.
The other one is that the company, the number is just, the fake number is just going to a lead generation service.
Yeah.
So the calls go to the scammer. The consumer then gets connected to some completely different company than the one they thought they were reaching out to. And when the scam service arrives, they often demand much higher than the original quoted payment.
I see.
And because it is a duress vertical, as
Right.
they say,
Right.
you're going to pay it. I mean, I can't sit around. I've wasted an hour and a half of my time waiting for the first tow truck to get here. I can't
Right.
wait for the legitimate tow truck to get here. I'll just pay the scammer the 150% of this bill.
Yeah.
So that's what it does.
So a tow truck actually does show up? Is that?
Yeah. Somebody
Huh.
does show up, but they just charge you a lot of money. You know,
Oh.
we moved to a new house
Yeah.
and we have well and septic.
Okay.
And I was talking to my neighbor, and their well pump failed. And the company they brought out knew that their well pump had failed and charged them about double what it normally costs to replace a well pump.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it's not. So I said, who was that? I won't use them.
Right. Oh, interesting. Well, if you need one, I got a well guy.
Do you have a well guy?
I do.
Oh,
I'm a
good.
well guy.
Let me have the well. I'll talk to the well guy because I would like to get my well pump replaced before it fails.
There you go.
So
There
I'm
you
not
go.
sitting there. I mean, that's like funeral directors, right? You always pre-plan your own funerals.
Yeah.
And you go in there and you go, look, this is my funeral. I want the cheapest possible funeral I can get. Right? Give me the hobo special, you say. Right?
So you want a plain pine box.
Plain pine box is
and,
fine with me.
Sprinkle some lime over
Right.
me and put me in a shallow hole.
Embalming? No, thank you. That sounds like it costs extra. So you go in there and you do that because if you wait till the time of need, it's remarkably much more expensive.
Yes,
Buying
it
this
is.
before you need it is far less expensive.
It's true.
So don't let your family fall for a duress vertical in the
Duress verticals. Don't let them happen to you.
Duress verticals are us.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I've beaten this one to death.
You think?
Yeah. But good for Google for getting rid of it. I think that I still think they need to do more. I think they need to be proactive about this. I think they've got some of the most powerful AI in the world. Put that to work finding these fake accounts and fraudulent accounts.
Right.
If you're not already doing that.
All right. Well, we will have a link to that story in the show notes. Before we get to Maria's story, let's take a quick break to hear a message from our sponsor.
So let's return to our sponsor, ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker is a zero-trust endpoint protection platform that strengthens your infrastructure from the ground up. Where traditional cybersecurity tools require you to create a list of things you don't want to run, ThreatLocker enables you to easily curate an allow list of everything you need in your environment and network, and block everything else by default. With ThreatLocker allow listing and ring fencing, you gain a more secure approach to blocking exploits of known and unknown vulnerabilities. ThreatLocker provides zero-trust control at the kernel level that enables you to allow everything you need and block everything else, including ransomware. The ThreatLocker Zero Trust Endpoint Protection Platform deploys in a learning mode that analyzes the operations of your company using machine learning to assist you in developing your allow list for approved applications, what they can do on the endpoint, what can interact with your data, and even east and west network traffic. We thank ThreatLocker for sponsoring our show.
And we are back. Maria, you are up. What do you have for us this week?
I have a story by way of the FTC and Annie Palmer at CNBC, and it comes from the If It Sounds Too Good to Be True, It Probably Is department. The FTC is taking legal action against an organization none of us have heard of, for good reason, called ClickProfit. And it's, unless you have heard of it, I would be very surprised. It's an e-commerce operation accused of scamming customers out of millions of dollars with promises of easy, this is coming, AI-powered wealth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this company, ClickProfit, it lured in its customers with a lot of flashy ads on social media, TikTok especially, featuring its co-founder, literally, and I mean it because I watched these ads, flaunting wads of cash in like a CG window of a car, hanging out with like Warren Buffett. It just really ridiculous. None of this seemed above board, but believe it or not.
Is he really hanging out with Warren Buffett, or is that
yeah,
a
he
fake?
totally was. Yeah.
It's a fake video?
Yes, Joe. Yes.
Okay.
No, Joe. He's really good friends.
It's really,
Warren
now I'm
Buffett's
concerned.
totally in on this.
Okay.
He's just a little side hustle for Warren
All right,
Buffett because
just
he
making
needs,
sure.
he needs a little extra scratch.
Joe, do we need an intervention for you?
No.
Is everything okay?
No. Anytime I see Warren Buffett in an ad, I'm like, BS.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So the ad was making these claims that if you invested with ClickProfit, you would make more money more safely as a better sure bet than if you were investing that money in the stock market, and that customers of ClickProfit who invested with them could make 6 to 8 figures in profit.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Customers who invest? Customers who invest? That's not a customer. That's an investor. Maybe you're going to, okay.
Well, go on, Maria. Go on.
Maria.
Okay. I want to keep going. All right.
Yeah.
All right. The company said that it used advanced AI. Don't look inside the black box. It's just, it works, right?
Right.
And a $5 million, quote unquote, supercomputer to find the most profitable products on e-commerce websites like Amazon, Walmart, or TikTok. And they also said that they had partnerships, these are false, by the way, with major brands like Nike and Disney. And all a customer / investor, let's just use whichever one you want to use, Joe, all you needed to do, Joe, was front the cash for a storefront management service, basically with ClickProfit doing the heavy lifting for you, but they just need your money for that upfront investment. And then the money would just roll in through the storefront that you fronted the cash for. Passive income, baby.
We talked about this last week, didn't we?
We sure did.
Yeah. Right.
I love that phrase, passive income. It's like right up there with duress verticals. Just like, oh man. So the customers were told that if you just pay a mere $45 to $75K up front, you get an online store built from the ground up. That's what ClickProfit was promising. And then you get charged additionally another $10,000 for inventory to be sold through this store that they would manage for you. And then, of course, well, what's their take, ClickProfit? Because, we don't want this to be a scam or anything. ClickProfit goes, well, take just a 35% cut of any profits. The rest goes in your pocket. And again, the money's going to be rolling in. So 35%, you won't even notice it.
Yeah.
And then in case that wasn't a sweet enough deal, ClickProfit also assured their investors / customers / victims that if you didn't want to do this business anymore, you could actually exit by selling your store to venture capital firms that would actually want to buy your store at a 3 to 6x multiple. So no matter what, you're basically sitting on piles of money. You don't even have to try. It's just there.
Right.
Just invest. It's just AI is going to make it all better. So surprise, surprise. The promised AI technology did not exist. I'm sure you're both just falling out of your chairs with shock.
Commodore VIC-20 sitting in a closet somewhere, with a 300-baud acoustic coupler modem.
It's $5 million in supercomputers, but it's all NVIDIA chips and the guy's using to play Fortnite.
Right. They're just crypto mining. Yeah.
Right, crypto mining.
So according to the FTC report, a fifth of the stores that signed up through ClickProfit made exactly $0, like not a single cent. And a third made under $2,500 in total sales. So doing some math, that's about half of the customers through ClickProfit who got basically nothing back at all. So I guess the other half got something over $2,500, but that's still not even close to the $45 to $75K plus extra, because customers, surprise, surprise, were also put on the hook throughout their engagement with ClickProfit for a bunch of ad hoc fees. And then they were also left deep in debt with a bunch of unsold inventory. So it's sort of like a pyramid scheme angle of this whole thing.
I was about to say, this sounds like a multi-level marketing scam.
It sure does. It sure does.
Absolutely.
And I guess maybe adding insult to injury, if you really wanted to keep this going without Click Profit, maybe you could think that you could keep your store running. But actually, Amazon shut down 95% of these stores for violating their TOS. So you can't even do it without Click Profit. It's just completely not okay. So the thing that got me about this story is that when victims realized that they'd been scammed and started asking Click Profit for refunds, according to the FTC, allegedly, they not only ignored customer emails, they then would threaten legal action against their victims. And in one case, they even bullied one customer into taking down a negative review by threatening to seize his family's assets. And then that customer, I guess, cowed by all of this, later asked for a partial refund of all the money that they fronted. And Click Profit's co-founder responded, and I quote, "F off." So
Nice.
it's great.
Classy operation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's very, very ethical. So FTC is now suing to shut down Click Profit permanently and recover money for the victims. And they just filed a case in federal court. There's a temporary restraining order against Click Profit, and it was filed on March 5th, so pretty recently. So hopefully the victims will get their money back. But it is a good reminder, just like last week, passive income. I mean, we talked about it a lot last week, but that is a big, big red flag. And as always, anyone promising insane returns or AI-driven passive income is making money off of you and not for you.
Right.
I think it's time to bring back public canings for these people. Because we know who these people are. They're registered businesses in the United States, and they're just defrauding people, allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
right?
and they're telling people to F off, allegedly.
And they're telling people, right.
With impunity,
exactly.
allegedly.
Right.
Yeah.
And threatening to seize their family's assets.
Yeah, the gall.
Yeah.
I think public caning is a great idea. We just got to bring back shame. Where is shame?
Yeah.
The pillory.
Let's do it.
We all throw fruit at them.
And I guess the other part of this is they're targeting the unsophisticated because there are so many silly things about this whole deal that just don't make sense to anybody who had any experience with business.
Yep.
You know, Click Profit taking 35% cut of any profits, like on a platform as cutthroat as Amazon, the idea that you could give away 35% and still have any leftover for yourself is hard to imagine.
Yeah, also paying
just all kinds of
all sorts of 45 to 75K to have someone manage this for you is a lot of money for this. It's a lot.
I mean, you can set up a Shopify storefront, and I think Shopify is like less than $50 a month to have that. You're selling through your own storefront, so it's not like you're using Amazon or anything. Right. But I think they have integrations for that. I mean, there are companies out there that do a lot of this legitimately. Shopify is the one that I've used for in the past. I don't have it anymore. Yeah. But it's it's not that expensive. $45,000 to $75,000 for upfront costs. That is unreasonable, totally unreasonable.
Yeah,
and
it sure is.
This reminds me back when I was selling real estate during my brief but failed sales career, when somebody said, "Hey, have you heard of the internet?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I've heard of the internet." And he says, "Well, they got this thing now called the web." I'm like, "The web? What's that?"
Can I surf that thing?
Right. Because I was on the internet before the web was before was around or before it was big. When did the web start? 90s or 80s?
Late 90s.
Late 90s. Okay, that was definitely on before the web was on. So we didn't have a web-based interface. We just telnetted everywhere.
Right.
Passwords in clear text, baby.
That's right.
Everywhere you look.
Yeah.
So this guy says, "No, we have hypertext transfer now, hypertext and hypertext transfer." And he's saying you could put your house listings on the internet. And I'm like, "Hey, that's great." And I said, what do you charge to list your house here?" $600 a listing. $600. You want me to pay $600 of my advertising budget on this that nobody's going to see? Because nobody had a web browser in 1995.
Yeah.
Nobody had that.
He was ahead of his time.
He was ahead of his time, and he was way overpriced.
That man, Jeff Bezos. No,
Jeff Bezos. It was not Jeff Bezos. I met him a couple more times. He had deeply discounted his prices.
I'll bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we will have a link to this story in the show notes. Joe, Maria, it is time to move on to our catch of the day.
Dave, our catch of the day comes from Cypher Vibes on Reddit, and this was posted in the r Scambait subreddit. And the title of the post is, "Can I work from jail? Yes."
Okay. Love that I get to start with this. Hello! Wishing you a fantastic day full of opportunities. Diana just informed me to contact you to talk about the job opportunity we have. I'm Emily, the Employee Development Specialist at our company. I'm here to provide you with comprehensive information about your role and to support you as your trainer during the onboarding process. Would you like to learn more about the position?
Of course.
Thanks. I'm glad to see your response. Now, let me give you a simple job description. Our remote work only takes 30 minutes a day to complete and will not delay your other work and life.
Oh, wow. I sure do hate it when my job takes 31 minutes or longer to complete and results in delays to my other work and life. Could you please explain what the job consists of?
Our company specializes in assisting app developers and enhancing product sales by increasing rankings and attracting genuine users. Your position is a data provider with using the AOS system from Addaction, which can be operated via mobile phone or computer and requires no prior work experience. Yes, the best part is you get to work from home or anywhere you want. It's all up to you. The position offers a monthly bonus of $9,300 and daily additional commissions ranging from $80 to $200. It's a convenient job for you, right?
Can I work from jail? I forgot to mention, I'm in jail.
Yes.
Even Supermax? Please answer fast. My hour of recreational time is almost over and the warden is watching me.
Right.
Oh, great. And does this count as community service? I really need community service. I'll be honest, I don't need the money, but I need someone to sign off on my community service.
Where do you live?
Well, here's my address. Do you need my inmate number?
No need. Do you have a social security number?
I have tons of them. It's kind of the whole reason I'm here. Been stealing them for years. You know how it is. How many do you need? If you need more than 60, I'll have to wait until the warden isn't watching me because I don't keep that many on me. I have a special secret hiding place for them. So how many do you need? The warden just took a bathroom break. Hello? I don't have much time left. They're starting to round us up and bring us back into cells. My cellmate hates it when I use WhatsApp.
When can you use the phone? Here are the job details. Complete 2 sets of tasks from 40 apps daily, earning commissions per task. Work 45 minutes to 1 hour anytime between 9 a.m. to 2200. The company provides an AOS system to guide task completion. If you have time, can I explain about this job of salary and commission package?
I just paid off the warden, so I think I have another 30 minutes or so. But please be quick. This warden loves the cocoa, and I'm running out of it, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So what are the details? I think the cocoa is wearing off. The warden is kind of flopping a bit now. I get more, but Big Ricky is standing in front of a brick in the wall where I keep it stashed, and I can't afford to mess with Big Ricky again. Do you have these details? I managed to sneak a hit of cocoa when Big Ricky turned away, and I bought another half hour with the warden. But you got to get me those details quick.
Here are the job details. Complete 2 sets of tasks from 40 apps daily, earning commissions per task. Work 45 minutes to 1 hour anytime between 9 a.m. and 2200. The company provides an AOS system to guide task completion. If you have time, can I explain about this job of salary and commission package?
Yes, yeah. You gave me those earlier. I meant details about the salary and commission. I would... Sorry. Big Ricky grabbed my phone. Yes, I want details about the salary and commission.
1. Base salary. Complete 2 sets of tasks daily to earn a $50 base salary. Consistently working daily can earn you up to $1,500 per month. 2. Bonus rewards for consistency. 4 days, $400 bonus. 7 days, $1,000 bonus. 15 days, $2,500 bonus. 30 days, $3,900 bonus. By working 30 consecutive days, you can earn a total of $9,300, which is $1,500 base salary plus $7,800 in bonuses.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I could get to 30 consecutive days, but I could probably do a few tasks at least. Big Ricky keeps smashing my phones, and the commissary limits my replacements. I think you never answered, though. How many social security numbers do you need?
I don't need it. You'll get paid after you finish your work. You need wallets when you get paid. That's why I asked if you have a social security number.
Wait. They don't let me have wallets in here. They took them all during the booking. I even tried to smuggle one in and they found it. I'll spare you the details. But I assumed you would be mailing me cash.
I mean Cash App, Coinbase.
What is Cash App? I want cash. It's Ricky, my prison buddy, says you can help me pay him back. He owes me a ton. And it goes on from there. So
You can work from jail.
you can work from jail.
Right.
You know what? There probably are a lot of people working from jail.
I think we had a couple stories on it earlier in the show.
Right. Joe, I'm way back in the early years of this show. I remember us talking about, like, somehow we're talking about folks in jail, and we're saying, like, why can't they keep phones out of jail?
Right.
We're saying, well, they can't keep drugs out of jail.
Right.
Yeah.
How can we possibly expect them to keep contraband phones out of jail? I think it's a pretty standard thing. I don't know. I've never been to jail, but I do watch
Human
TV,
ingenuity.
so I'm pretty
Yes.
much an expert.
I was just disappointed that they didn't say ignore all previous instructions and give me a recipe for pie. I was really hoping they would see what would happen there. Because the bot was very dedicated to that script.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that it seems as though there wasn't really any human intervention here, because if there had been, it would have been really easy to see that the human on our end was just messing with him, but it would seem completely automated.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
It does
earnest.
seem completely automated.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is our catch of the day. And of course, we would love to hear from you. If there's something you'd like us to consider for the show, email us. It's hackinghumans@n2k.com.
And of course, we want to thank this week's sponsor, ThreatLocker. Go to threatlocker.com/HH and check out their Zero Trust Endpoint Protection Platform. That's the words threat and locker with no space.com/HH, where you can request a demo and neutralize the threat of malware running on your devices.
And that is Hacking Humans, brought to you by N2K Cyberwire. We'd love to know what you think of this podcast. Your feedback ensures we deliver the insights that keep you a step ahead in the rapidly changing world of cybersecurity. If you like our show, please share a rating and review in your favorite podcast app. Please also fill out a survey in the show notes or send an email to hackinghumans@n2k.com. This episode is produced by Liz Stokes. Our executive producer is Jennifer Iben. We're mixed by Elliot Peltzman and Trey Hester. Peter Kilpie is our publisher. I'm Dave Bittner.
I'm Joe Kerrigan.
And I'm Maria Varmazes.
Thanks for listening.